To start out, I'm going to reveal the ingredients one by one using stop motion. To do this, I'm going to clamp my phone onto this pot hanging thingy above the counter. I'll be filming with my phone, the Samsung Galaxy S10, at 4K 30 frames per second. For the lighting, I'm using an LED stick and a bedsheet attached to some tubes from a shoe rack as a diffuser. This makes the light softer. I decided to keep recording the whole time and drop each ingredient so they'd be moving. I'm moving my hands out of the way as quickly as possible to help. If you imagine beforehand how you're going to edit, you can make choices like this while filming that later make editing easier. In editing, I cut the original footage together, then masked them over each other so my hands wouldn't be in the way. Then I filled the counter colors into everywhere else using content-aware fill in After Effects. Next, I'm going to be chopping the vegetables, and I have another cool idea to make it look kind of like a shock wave of chopping the carrot. If I can pull this off, I think it'll look really cool. I'm going to edit these effects, but what I do now is have a completely still shot so that I can use masks and add motion that isn't actually there. I also edited this clip in After Effects using masks and transformations. Next, I'm just chopping the carrots and in After Effects, speeding it up and making it super blurry. Chopping the celery, the main thing is to keep the camera stable. So I'm leaning with my whole body and filming at 60 frames per second. Next, I want some fast cuts of putting the veggies into the pan. I'm getting a few shots, each with clear action or motion in the frame. That way the fast cuts are easier to watch. For washing the mushrooms, I'm filming at 60 frames per second, then speed ramping in post. In this shot, I'm going to use the food processor and film at 240 frames per second. I have the lid off so that I can get a shot from above. Here, I'm tricking the food processor into thinking the lid is on by holding a spreader against the safety button. That way I can film looking inside. This is kind of sus safety-wise, so I'm being super careful not to accidentally drop anything in. Now I'm putting the sauce into the slow cooker. After this shot is the big beat drop, so I'm adding a zoom in to this clip to match the forward motion in the next shot of the pasta. Now I'm going to use the super wide lens on my phone to get a close-up of the spaghetti. A huge advantage of phones as cameras is you can get close to stuff and reach places you couldn't with a bigger camera. This is what I'm trying to take advantage of here and many other times in this video. With any type of gear, it's important to know its strengths and use them to your benefit. Now I'm dropping the spaghetti in the boiling water, and I think a circular motion would look fire, but I only have 2 tries to get it right. My first try just wasn't it, the framing was bad. So now is my last chance to get it right. With a little stabilization and transform edits, it worked. While stirring the pasta, I moved around with my body to get a rotating motion. This is another place where I planned the motion in each shot to match up. The rotating of me dropping the spaghetti matches the rotation of the stirring. For the next 2 shots, I'm doing something similar, except instead of transitioning with motion, I'm doing it with color. The steam in this shot turns the image white, which can transition to the steam in the next shot. I'm adding a flash to the second shot and using a short crossfade to smooth out the cut. In this bubbly shot, I'm doing a jittery fast cut to match the song's beats. Now I'm getting another steam shot, this time at 240 frames per second. This is slowed down to 1/10 speed. Next is pouring the pasta water out into the colander. I've got my phone on a tripod leaning against the counter to get an angle from above. In editing, I did a boomerang that matches the music and added a zoom in. Now to the last part of the sequence, which is serving myself the pasta. I'm going to use a refrigerator tray and look through it from below to get a pretty cool angle. Here I'm setting the focus manually by putting my phone on top of the glass and focusing on my finger. When I put my phone where my finger is on the counter, I won't be able to see the screen, but because of manual focus, I know it'll be focused on the glass because it's the same distance. First, I'm dropping the spaghetti on. This is the result. Now I'm pouring the sauce on. This is why I'm using glass, because I want the sauce to cover the frame with the light shining through. In editing, I removed the glare using color grading and a lot of masks and the clone stamp tool in After Effects. Next, I filmed the pasta sploop, but from above. This shot will go in between the clips of the low angle. Here are the 3 shots in order. I added some zooming in to flow the clips together in the final edit. I'm filming twirling the fork at 60 frames per second. I stabilized and transformed it in post. I like to end my B-roll sequences wide, so that's what I'm doing here. To make it as stable as possible, I'm using my hips and body to lean forward and backwards. This will really help me in editing. Alright, so that is my pasta smartphone B-roll. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching.